Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Champions of Inspiration. A lot of times we go through things in life and we don't realize that some of the less than positive things are actually the things that catapult us and allow us to win later on. My guest today, a former NFL player. I can tell you right there, that takes a bunch of discipline. Love the stadium in the background. Shawn Harper, thanks for joining us on Champions of Inspiration.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And it's my prayer that this will be a huge blessing to someone out there.
Absolutely. You know, it only takes one. Mother Teresa said, if you can't feed 100, feed one. So, let's work towards that. Now, I do have to say, we played in the same conference at different times. I might be more mature than you. That's code word for older. I played for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Wait, were you serious? I didn't know that. Were you under Hayden Fry?
Absolutely. I played for
Coach Hayden. What year was this? Come on. Give it up. Give it to me.
Oh, he great man, learned many a life lesson from him. For
I
sure.
love Hayden Fry. Even the pink locker rooms, you know.
Isn't that fun though? I was there when those got painted pink.
Yeah.
I was there for Hayden's first teams, and it was just absolutely amazing. I remember playing at Indiana. And just what an amazing opportunity to play at that level. And then you went to the next level beyond that.
Sure.
Now you weren't always as awesome as you are now. So you started maybe with a challenge or two, didn't you?
Yeah. And I guess if I want to have a phrase that would just highlight this whole entire message today, and is a different perspective of adversity. Adversity can break you. It breaks people every single day, but it also can make you a record breaker. The difference is perspective. You see, victims tend to focus on what they're going through. Victors tend to look at what and where they're going to. There's a huge difference. Okay. Never allow life to steal your focus. And often in our society, it's like, oh, you're poor, you're a victim here. It's not your fault. That's kind of the cliche. It's not, but it is your responsibility. And as you mentioned, I was hit with insurmountable odds growing up, but documented with 4 to 5 learning disabilities, having to repeat the first grade because of those same learning challenges, kicked out of a couple schools for disciplinary issues. You know what? I stuttered my entire life. I could not complete a sentence till college. In fact, kids would ask me questions and everyone would be quiet. I thought I was popular at first. No, they were waiting to see, what letter or what enunciation or word that I would stutter on. And they would laugh. And of course I would laugh it off, but, deep inside I was like, you know what, that hurts, because people had a negative perception of, who I am or who I was as an actual individual. And unfortunately, their perception became my perception. And I began to internalize a lot of anger and a lot of rejection and a lot of regret over certain situations and circumstances, and to the point where I got kicked out of 2 schools for disciplinary issues. Graduated last in my class in high school with a 1.62 accumulative GPA, 9 on my ACT, right? And as far as athletically, I wasn't an actual football standout. Actually, I was worse. I was like, okay, let him start. He's a junior, senior. No, let him play. I wasn't even honorable mention all conference. I was the guy sitting in the back with, this guy is all American. The stud on the team is, going to play for Ohio State, whatever. And it was Shawn. Here's your participation award as I ate that nasty cordon bleu, right? And I get a phone call from a junior college, and you'll like this, a junior college in Mason City, Iowa. And they want me to come play. And I don't know, Iowa's cold. They don't know. Iowa is cold, right? And I'm up there and I'm getting asked to come to Mason City, Iowa. The first year on the team, or the first year playing up in a cornfield, literally between 2 cornfields, I didn't start. Not in one play. I would hold the dummies for all the starters and, water jugs. And they would always laugh and joke like, why is he here? And then I had this amazing conversation. And the conversation is, you know what? You're right. I'll never be successful because I'm answering my self-talk. And that right there, I could stop right there, being able to answer your self-talk, not just allow it to talk freely like some free radical. You know, you got to answer your self-talk. It's like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I won't be successful. That's right. You know, I was like, hoping I see me talking to myself. Like, yeah, this. I said, but I can win. And the moment I said that, it's like every cell in my body clicked on it. I mean, everything, just the neurons, everything responded to the word win. And then at that moment, I began to look at life, look at challenges, look at adversity different. I saw them as opportunities to get to the next level because I'm seeing life from a win-lose perspective.
Yeah.
And I began to move on that. You know what? I can win. And then from there, I went from sitting on the bench to being in the Junior College Hall of Fame, full scholarship, Bill Mallory, Indiana University, draft day in the NFL, third pick in the fourth round. The list goes on. And then I took that same winning concept and I applied it to life and business. I've been married for over 23 years, about 22, almost 23 years. And I've been in business for over 20 years, learning, winning, and conquering and the chosen field that I'm in.
That's awesome. You know, I think there's a lot to unpack. There are a lot of really great, great things. Similarly, as I came out of high school, I was recruited by a couple Big Ten schools, but a lot of those JUCOs in Iowa. I actually visited Estherville, Iowa. It made Mason City look like a metropolis.
Okay.
But was ready to commit to Drake when Drake had their D1 program. And the coaches from Iowa called and said, stop on by and take a look. And I went into Iowa City and I said, that's it. And they said, well, we got good news and bad news. And I said, what's that? The good news is we want you. The bad news is we're out of scholarships. But if you walk on, we know you can earn one. And I did. And so I turned down other Big Ten schools and Drake to walk on at Iowa, an experience that I would never give up for anything.
That's huge.
So I understand your commitment to winning. The first one you have to commit to is yourself.
Yes.
If you don't believe in you, why should anybody else?
Yes. And not only do you have to commit to yourself, you have to convince yourself, and you continually have to coach yourself. Hey, it's 3 C's. That's going to be another book right there. Me and you, let's co-author that one right there.
That's right.
You have to continually coach yourself into the fact that you're worth it. You're the winner. You know, block that self. Now, I mentioned self-talk earlier. You know, you have to answer that. You have to answer that. If I'm going to say something negative about who I am, I'm going to respond consciously 10 times because I'm going to change that self-talk.
Absolutely. I'm going to guess you played with some, 5-star athletes that were just, you actually wonder if they were hatched or they were born, right? Mm-hmm. They were that good.
Yes.
Right. That big a natural. And then you had to do as much work as you did to get from where you were to where you wanted to be.
Right.
What did that take to accomplish that?
Well, for a lot of athletes that I was up against, I outworked them. That's it. You know what? People underestimate effort.
Yeah.
They really do. Effort and will is a heck of a, man, that can level the playing field in so many areas. It's like, what is your effort and what is your will? One of the reasons why I believe when I went to Indiana that we were successful is that Coach Mallory focused on the intangibles. Now, he didn't have a list of 5-star, 4-star athletes, right? I mean, he had a few on offense. He had Von Dunbar, Trent Green, great guys, right? But we would focus on things that kind of, created an equilibrium, not equilibrium, well, just kind of equalized the 4 and 5 stars. So let me give you an example. One of the things that we were taught in Indiana as an offensive lineman was that we had to control the box. So the box, is from tight end, and if you're 2 tight ends, from tight end to tight end, 7-8 yards back, all 3 linebackers are in the box. All 4 to 5 down linemen are in the box. Now, guess what? 40-yard dash speed doesn't matter in the box. how great you can move from cone to cone doesn't matter in the box. I don't care if you bench press 450 pounds. That don't matter in the box when you are being double teamed and each guy squats at least 600 or 700 pounds. You know what matters in the box? Heart. You know what matters in the box is consistency. You know what matters in the box is technique and will to win. So we would have like drills where we just hit each other. We just like, you cannot give up. I mean, we at one point was training like Navy, right? One of our coaches took away the whistle. He just took away the whistle. There's no whistle. Elliot Uselak took away the whistle. There's no whistle. We just hit until we were like, okay, I guess he got a touchdown now, right? And we used that. So now guess what? When we went, wherever we went, we had amazing running backs, we had amazing linemen. Why? Because we controlled the box, the intangibles. And that is the same thing that happens in life. You have to learn how to control what you can control. You have to learn how to dominate what you can dominate. And in doing so, you'll stop being a thermometer and you become a thermostat. What I mean by that is you don't react to the temperature, you set the temperature.
Yeah, I love that. I love your quote, we're not born winners or losers, we're born choosers.
Right.
And I think what you just spoke to is a big part of that.
Yes.
Pretty sure nobody planned to have a 2.5 or 3 year pandemic worldwide.
Right.
So it's, how do you choose to come through that in a different way?
Whoa. You start by not looking so much outwardly. You gotta look inwardly. You have to create an equilibrium within yourself. You have to rebalance. You have to recreate your gyroscope. Okay.
Yep.
You ever see how certain motorcycles are so balanced because they have a gyroscope in them? And so that way they can almost stand up on their own, right? So where is your gyroscope? Your gyroscope used to be the 9-to-5 job, your pension, your 401, your family, and for a lot of us, those strings that held up the tent of your life has been shredded, has been damaged, and there's so much instability now. So guess what? Now you have to develop an internal sense, a strong internal sense of who you are, feed who you are, build who you are, and then you have to rope-a-dope life. So I use the word rope-a-dope is because a boxing strategy of Muhammad Ali, right? Life is throwing haymakers at you, man. Life is hitting you. Life is smashing you. Layoffs are coming. This is coming, and you just sitting back. You notice a lot of times he took shots to the body, didn't take a lot of shots to the head, because he was protecting his focus. And now you're building yourself at the same time. You're feeding yourself, okay? You're motivating yourself, self-motivation, okay? Self-encouragement, you're all that. You're amazing. That stuff works. It's not pie in the sky. You're speaking to your subconscious. You have what it takes, and you're speaking, and you're speaking, and you're speaking, and you're speaking. And then one round, and in one moment, the opportunity comes. And when it comes, you strike and you give it everything you got, and you will win. Muhammad Ali came out after 7th or 8th round and hit him and had him on the ground in less than 5 seconds.
Yep, absolutely. So it had to be a wonderful experience moving. I know just the Big Ten college experience and how amazing that was, but the NFL experience, what was it like being with a group of guys that had that singular goal to win the Super Bowl, to make it to the very top, to the pinnacle?
Well, first of all, and somebody told me this, and I was like, yeah, years ago. I said, man, if you even sign an NFL contract for preseason, man, you are a beast. You're a pro, right? But that word pro is so much bigger than on the field. You are a pro at everything that you do. You're a pro. You're a pro at everything that you do now. You are a professional. You're a pro. And you have to have that mindset. I'm a pro. I'm a pro that in everything that I do. And I'm saying this because I'm trying to set something up here. To be a true pro, you have to have the right perspective. And so I'll give you an example, because most players never develop this perspective, which means that their career is often shortened. Okay. So when I play for the Rams, all the players are coming into the locker room every day, at the practice or coming to practice, and they sweats on and sleet in their eyes, because yeah. But then there was one or two players. One player in particular, his name was Jackie Slater. Now Jackie Slater would come to practice every day in a shirt and tie. At the least he had on was a collared shirt. At the least, I would always see him in a shirt and tie. Business every day. He had on a shirt and tie. And so I thought he had like another job. So one day, so I believe somebody asked him, like, what is that? And he said, Brother Harper, and to another person, he said, this is business. This is business. This is a business in the facade of a sport. And you have to have that perspective. You got to think like the owners. Once you can think like the owners, not as a fan, not as a coach, but you think like an owner and you perfect your craft, then guess what? You'll last a long time. And I took that lesson. I didn't learn it then. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't learn it then. But everywhere I go, like even now, I'm doing a podcast. Some speakers have on t-shirts, and I can't do that because it's business. This is business.
Yeah.
So I have to have that perspective in everything that I do. Yeah.
So how do you take that perspective that you gain from playing with world-class players and in an amazing opportunity that so few around the world actually get the opportunity to play in? How do you take that and translate that into both business and into life?
Oh, well, first thing is that you have, and then I know this is going to sound kind of radical, but you have to abandon the success mindset. You have to abandon the success mindset altogether. The success mindset is flawed. And the reason why it's flawed is because when you adopt the success mindset, then whoever's in charge of the success quota or status is now in control of you. So in the Western culture, guess what? Mercedes, nice house, nice subdivision, that is success. It is weird because when you go to other cultures, big family, that means success. And you go to other cultures, old wisdom, you're in the 70s and 80s with your gray, oh, that's successful. Here, not so much. Well, you have to abandon that whole, you got to throw it, at the least put it in proper perspective, okay? Because there's something greater than success, and that's win. Winning is the fullest expression of who you are mentally, spiritually, socially, emotionally, and most important to me is legacy. That's the win. And our culture, we say, you know what? Forget about the legacy. Think about that. Forget about the emotional part. Let's just focus on what? The financial part. And that's how we will determine if you're successful. It's built off of production. Winning is built off of reproduction. It's difference. So now you say, okay, what is my win? Like I was talking to this kid, because I mentor these kids, right? And I do coaching and, I do some executive coaching, high level, like power, like in your face stuff. It ain't no cute stuff here, baby. But I also mentor these kids. I'm coaching them too, right? And he asked this very interesting question to me. He said, I want to own my own business. He said, but my heart is I want to be on a mission field. And I'm like, wow. I said, well, there is a way that you can do both. I said, but if it comes down to you, having a desire in your heart's desire, which is mission field, I said, go on a mission field because that's your win. That's why so many people are unfulfilled in life. It's because they're doing what they're been told to do and they're not doing what they've been called to do. There is a big, big difference. You have to find a way to get into your calling. Like, honestly, for me, coaching, I love it. Speaking, I like it. Coaching, getting in your face one-on-one, I love it. I love to have the opportunity to invest in the poor and the people. And 2 or 3 years later, like, man, thank you, Mr. Harper. I'm like, oh man, God bless you. I see you doing well. Your health is well. Your family's well. All is well. Awesome. Thank you. I love that stuff. Yeah.
I agree with you. It just made me smile. I think back to being very fortunate playing 5 sports growing up and ultimately Big Ten football, but for the man, for Coach Hayden Fry. And Hayden, just absolutely legendary coach. And gosh, I could spend hours just giving Haydenisms. I mean, he used to say so much stuff. But one of the greatest lessons I ever learned, and I was a kicker and a punter. So at the end of practice, we'd start at the 25 in the center of the field, the entire team. Then we'd move to the right hash at the 30, then back to the 35 in the middle, the other hash at the 40, and we'd serpentine back and forth, 8 kicks, finishing off at 55 on the right hash in the angle. And I drilled 8 kicks in a row, in this speed drill and everything we were doing. I just drilled them right down the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And he chewed my butt after every one of them, and over something. And the 8th one, 55 from the hash, hard kick, all this stuff. I said, Coach, I don't get it. I just drilled 8 in a row down the pipes. You chewed my butt after every one of them. What gives? And just in his Hayden style, he said, son, don't concern yourself when I'm chewing your ass.
Yeah.
Only concern yourself when I stop, because then
Exactly.
I don't care anymore. One of the greatest life lessons.
When I stop talking to you, then that's when you should be worried.
Exactly. And I think that's the one thing that people maybe don't understand as much of today, is that when somebody's working with you to share from their sphere of influence or from their expertise, right? What they've lived, not what they've been told, but they're trying to share something from what they've lived, and they don't take it as seriously as, because they haven't lived it. Well, obviously not everybody's had the same experience, but I've got to imagine that now you carry into the business world some of the lessons, and that's what you share with your audiences, correct?
Yes, because unfortunately, think about this for a second, okay? Where would a student learn how to win and how to lose, how to deal with disappointment, how to deal with adversity in our current culture? Where are they going to learn that outside of sports?
I don't think there are many places. That's why I think sports is so important.
Exactly. They're not going to learn it. So when they come up against adversity, when they come up against pain, when they come up against rejection, they fold, they crumble. It's like being hit with a virus that you've never been hit with before. It's like, whoa, this is not, it's like, it's like, wow, like, what the heck is this? Your body's like, we don't have nothing for this. This is new.
Yeah.
Rejection is new. Adversity is new. Because why? Because my mom and dad rescued me from every form of pain that could possibly be, and in fact, I've learned how to avoid, any type of confrontation and pain. So guess what? I never felt this. And then they get in life and they get in business, or they have a breakup and they're like, whoa, I'm not prepared for this one. What's the protocol for this one? Yeah. So, yeah, right. So, yeah.
I totally agree with you. I think the one thing that sports does is there are times where you can be significantly more fulfilled by having a lower number on the scoreboard than the other team. You left it all on the field. You played as hard as you could play. You know what? Somebody had a little more talent, or a little more coaching, or a little more this, or a little more that, or were prepared a little bit better, right? Like you said, it's about taking all your opportunities and then maximizing the opportunities.
Right.
So now you can carry what you've done in the NFL into organizations, and you can share some of that spirit. How do they respond to that?
Oh, they love it, because for the most part, they've never heard of this stuff before, right? Because corporations and corporate in general, they have their own lingo, they have their own methodology, they have their own approach,
right?
Use words like best practices and this and
that sounds sweet,
right? It's like they're taught at the high school or the collegiate level to be conformist. They're taught, oftentimes not to kind of ruffle the feathers. They're they are taught. Well, most of the people who go to school, which myself, we are taught what to think. We're not taught how to think.
Right.
We're not taught to, hey, a new idea, a great perspective, a great mindset. They're taught to compete. They're not taught how to compete. They're not taught the edge. Right? Now think about this, right? When you're playing football, you're constantly, even in the game, you're always looking for the strategic advantage, the edge. That is in your methodology. Corporate's not like that for the most part. They're like, hey, you know what? This, we're going to do our job the best way that we can. And blah, blah. Now, at a certain level, the executives, C-suite and up, they're taught win. Let's go win. Let's win. Hey, did you get your numbers? Did you get this? Did you that? Hey, you won. Great job. Okay. But management down, it's success. Be successful at your job. It's not, it's win. It's about the win. Because trust me, if you have enough losses, you're going to get laid off. And what it does is that winning mindset, now it gives a huge undergirding to the word teamwork.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're like, success for you is not success for me. Well, I don't care what happened in sales department. Their numbers are low, but my product division's doing great because I'm success. Did that work? Did that work when you played football?
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you could make like 4 or 5 field goals and you're doing absolutely wonderful. But guess what? You made all your extra points. You made all your field goals, right? But the game is over and you lost 27-20. Or, and now you're in the locker room, or 28-21, and you're in the locker room after the game. Are you like, bro, I won, man, we're going to hang out tonight, man? I mean, no, heck no. You feeling the pain, or at least you better pretend you're feeling the pain like everyone else in there.
You felt the pain for sure.
Felt the pain. You were scared on Monday film session and sprints. You were scared. And Hayden and Coach Hayden, he was a psychiatrist, or he had a degree in psychology. So he was all up in your head.
Oh, he was absolutely amazing.
Like Silence of the Lambs, he's all up in your head, like, yes, Clarice.
So hard to believe we've blown through our time. How about one last little piece of wisdom, and then let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, if life is a game, you play the game to win. Okay. And winning doesn't mean that someone else has to lose, because the greatest competitor is not the people around you. It's you. You are the greatest competitor. And guess what? You will get knocked down because life gives the test, didn't teach the lesson. But if you can look up, you can get up. If you can look up, you can get up. That's what we do. We play to win. Persistence through resistance is how you get stronger. That's awesome. How do people get a hold of you? Yeah. So, I'm like all over the internet. So you can go to just Google SHAWNHARPER, Shawn Harper. Better yet, you can go to my Instagram, Shawn Harper Speaker, my Facebook group, Winning by Design. And I got a free gift. Anyone and anybody. Okay. You just go to ShawnHarper.co. I'm going to put up a banner, ShawnHarper.co. And you will get a free copy of my book. And I talk about the winning laws, because there's laws to winning that you cannot violate. One of the laws, since we're talking about football, is repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill. So guess what? When you played football, you stretched, you did this, you did individual, 9-on-7, group, team, blah, 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 all the way through. Consistency is one of the keys, one of the key laws to winning. So hit me up, ShawnHarper.co, free copy of the book. That's what we do. That's awesome. Shawn, thank you for being here. We'll have to do this again. This is fun. Yeah. We'll do another show later on. And thank you all for joining us on Champions of Inspiration. We'll see you again tomorrow, exact same time. God bless. Take care.